This is Meri at the.meri.atelier, and I am ready to work on the fourth border that I'm doing for week 1. I have done one border off of the tower, and then the second and third border I used segments of the building itself, and I am ready to work on the fourth side, which will just be off of not the tower itself, but the part of the building leading up to the tower that's kind of an arched area. I call it an arched triangle. So I'm just getting ready to draw out the arches. I'm drawing some lines on my page to get it sectioned off. And I call these arched rectangles. And around each arch, I notice that it has several lines around them, so that's what I'm drawing. Now I'm deciding what do I want to put in between each arch. There's really, because I'm repeating that design clear across the page, I needed something in the negative space. And I put in this little column. And as I draw across, I'm thinking that it reminds me of a Roman aqueduct or a Roman colonnade, or maybe a Renaissance structure in a Renaissance type building. That thought changes as I work with it and develop it further. I'm really happy with it so far. I'm having fun doing this. And I will say, as I work with my borders across the page, the first one did not impress me much, and the second one was better. The third one started filling out the page, and now that I'm working on the fourth one, I feel like my page has really come together with inspiration from the Chrysler Building, which is designed in the Art Deco style. Now I'm doing the little windows at the top of each arch. I'm not putting in each little window, I'm doing the arched windows, and they're starting to look like little doors to me. I draw the little center lines down the center of each window, and they're starting to look like little doors. There's 8 of them across the page. And then I draw in the little squares. Do that on each one, and I think I draw in some larger squares, and then at the bottom I have panels where I put circles. You'll see that happen. And there goes the next section. Now I think for week 1 I was going to do week 1 with 8 borders. But I decided to shorten that to 4 because I am filling up an entire page. And week 2, I'll decide whether I want 4 or 8 depending on what I do. But I'll probably do 4 borders, 4 larger borders for week 2. Now I'm getting out my colors. I'm deciding what colors I want to use. I think I used 2 colors of gray, gold, and that light blue, and my black. So I start shading in my arched windows and the lower rectangle windows with a black. They do look like little doors. They look like 8 little doors leading off into hallways into my art journal. You have to be tiny to fit through those doors though. I used the blue marker to fill in the negative space. I call them the columns between the doors, and the circles on the bottom panel, and the little tinier squares up above the larger squares on the door. Now I use the gold to draw that center line on each arched triangle and the frame around, the circular arched frame around each one of them. And I'm using a gray to color it in. Now at this point, I do not color a solid gray on each door. I leave little white spots in there. And to me, that just adds some dimensionality to the page. It's kind of like leaving little sparkle in the eyes and the eyeballs. I just don't feel like on a piece this small you have to have it every little space colored in. For the next frame around the door, I'm doing it in the darker gray. Each one is framed in a darker gray. I think I missed one, but that's okay. And let's see, what am I going to do next? I'm thinking. Oh, I got out the black. I got out my black my black Pen Plus gear pen, and it's got a wider tip on it, but I do frame each arch out again. And can you see where I left a little white space between the columns and the arches? Little white spaces. You can see it especially at the top of the arches. So I just kind of have this thought that on something this small, I do not have to color in every area. I'm just giving it final touches up on the page. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I'll go ahead and document it. Art Deco from the Chrysler Building. Motif number 4. I hope that you've enjoyed watching this and have a great day.